Thanks for joining me in the studio today. In this Quilting Quickly tutorial, I'm going to show you how to put together the quilt called Baby Checks. If you'd like to purchase this pattern, you can visit our website. Okay, for this one we're going to be using 2.5-inch pre-cut strips, and we're going to be adding just a really simple white background with a little dot to it. To see what the quilt is constructed from, let's look at the quilt. The very center, there isn't one particular block. So we have the entire center of the quilt is a checkerboard pattern, and then we have an inner border of the light background and more checkerboard for the outer border. So what we need to do is create a lot of strip sets. And in order to do that, we're going to be cutting white from the white fabric strips that are also 2.5-inch wide, just like our pre-cuts, but we're going to be creating two different patterns of strip sets. You'll see here, this one consists of 3 light fabrics, 2 of the print, and then we're going to construct strip sets of 3 prints and only 2 of the light. And remember, if you've done a lot of strip sets in the past, always remember, make sure that you take time to press as you add each row to it. Don't try to do all the sewing and then jump to the ironing in the pressing part. In order to keep your strip set nice and neat, you want to press as you go. And in this case, I've pressed all the seam allowances toward the print fabric, and then you'll get a nesting seam later as in your construction. And then from those strip sets, you need to cut 2.5-inch wide units or segments. So if you I've got short ones here, you'll have longer strip sets, but in order to accommodate the space, I've made them a little shorter. What we can do then is stack the strip sets in order to cut quickly. Now, if you're new to this process, just cut one layer at a time or one strip set at a time until you're comfortable doing this, and then maybe you can graduate up to cutting multiple layers at once. And you can probably do 3 or 4 layers depending on how sharp the blade and how new it is in your rotary cutter. But what we're going to be doing is cutting 2.5-inch wide segments here. So I'm going to overcut. That means to cut the first strip a little wider, because you can see my edges aren't even yet. So I'm going to come in and cut it just a little bit longer so that I can go back and cut a nice 2.5-inch wide segment from that piece. That will be my first segment. And then I can continue down the strip set, cutting those 2.5-inch strips, making sure to always measure 2.5. Kind of always keep an eye on that kind of horizon line across the seam line in your strip set to make sure that you're keeping this nice and square. There are times when you may have to go back and overcut again and just take off a little bit to keep your strip set nice and neat. So creating all of these strip sets then, this would be what we're calling strip set 1. It consists of 3 prints and 2 lights. So put that in that stack. Kind of keep them separated because you're going to need to alternate them when you're creating that center portion of the quilt. And I'll show you what I mean by that. You're going to start with strip set 1. Now the diagram in your pattern has all the information you need to put together that center section. And you'll see, since it finishes here with a print, you would need a light next. And you'll be chaining together 3 of those for a vertical row in your center of your quilt. And then you'll come back and start with strip set 2. If I put the one with the dot there so you can see it more easily. And then you'll be alternating again, back and forth to create that center portion. When you've got your long vertical rows attached, and you would join those rows, you're going to be using a wider strip of an inner border and then going back to the strip set pieces for the outer border. So follow your instructions for that. If you'd like to see more of our videos, you can visit our website, and thanks for joining me today.